which is the multicolor.
That panel now work?
Yeah, right here on the. So that's the first of Hannigan's fleet. There are 4 or 5 other panels that were created. And so I used this concept and ran with it with the Troy block. And the wonderful thing about being part of the Equinox crew and our studio is there's a lot of collaboration that happens here.
Absolutely.
And it just blew open my creativity. And when I was thinking of this 3-dimensional design, Pat Hannigan introduced me to John Kirschenbaum, who's over in the Big Blue. And I met
who we'll talk with tomorrow.
Yes, you will. And John sat with me, and I showed him a napkin of an idea that I had, and he brought it to fruition. He walked me around his studio. We talked about the different woods and how we were going to make it. And he was instrumental in getting this concept to fruition. And so after working with this Hannigan's fleet, at the end of the 2.5 years, I was able to create this 3-dimensional piece with the Troy block images. And this piece that you're seeing here is of the Troy block. And there were 6 feet by 4 feet. That's how the size of all of these panels that you're seeing in my studio.
Yeah, they're huge.
There's this one that's in my studio currently is all about the different trades and the amount of weight that they have to carry. And that's called carry. And then I have one about the cement team, and then one of the we have one of the all of the iron workers, and yeah, so they're out in the hall, and there's 4 complete panels for that.
You know, one of the things that I really think about when I think about your work, you know, that iconic image of steel workers sitting on the beams above New York City, and how much of a story that tells about what kind of life people lived at that time and the kind of industry that was going on and building for our future. I often think that some of your work sort of encapsulates a similar feel.
Yeah, thank you. That's a huge compliment.
Of who is building the world that we're living in tomorrow.
Yes, exactly.
And to get it in like these color spreads, and the 3-dimensionality of how you use these panels to tell these stories. They're storytelling pieces.
Well,
they're books.
That is the thing. Like I am a storyteller by nature, and I get to do it through photographs. And it's interesting because during COVID, one of my mentors suggested that I stop editing and I just start writing about the project. And I did that, and it was amazing what came. I spent the whole entire summer, every day, sitting in my garden writing. And there's a story. There's a story behind all of this that goes beyond just having this great experience to shoot. I actually had relationships with these men and women that were creating this building, and they let me come in and be part of their world. And it was it was magical. So I'm so grateful for that. After this Troy block, I went down to the Rainier Square Tower, which is the big tower in the center of our city.
Yep.
It's the 2nd tallest building, and it's a state-of-the-art building. It's a new architecture. It has a steel core. So shooting that was a whole other new experience for me. Unbelievable. And so when I met with John just the other day, Kirschenbaum, and he helped me with these original panels, and we talked about this next experience at the Rainier Square Tower, where instead of having 32 images on a panel, I wanted to just show one. And, and some of these pieces, some of the photographs I was able to capture on this project are stunning, and they can live alone and be a story in and of themselves. And we sat in the studio last week and we talked about like, how can we make this a more intimate experience where I'm actually bringing the viewers into the job site, what I experienced while I was there. So we are coming up with this concept where we're going to have these large panels of just one image, and we're not going to have them on a wall, set on traditionally as an art gallery on a wall. But we're going to hang them from the ceiling of the space. So when you walk in, you actually walk into it and you're having this intimate relationship with what it actually is like to be on a job site. And we're really excited about that, and we're in the workings of that. And that's one of the things that I missed the most this past year is the collaboration that happens here at Equinox. And I so look forward to being back in the studio, working with John and creating these next panels.
What you were just saying and about the collaboration made me think about, you know, the diversity of artists who are here at Equinox Studios. And what flashed in my mind was like a spoken word projector piece in one of the dance studios.
Can you imagine? I've had this idea of getting something in a dance studio. Yes, I have like music and this whole collaboration with all the artists here in Seattle or in Equinox.
That'd be so badass.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
I mean, yeah. I was like, I just came to my mind, and that's so cool because I think your work really does provide a runway for collaboration with so many different types of artists, woodworkers, musicians, poets.
Totally. Yes. Amazing. So when I was shooting the Rainier Square Tower, I shifted 17, and that was when the first Women's March happened, which is this panel here.
Was that the way? So there?
This is from Washington, D.C. And here in Seattle, this is Paula Weber. She got us a group together, and she's from the area, DC area. So she hooked us up with some people where we could stay during the march. And we met at this woman's house here. Sorry to be moving quickly.
All right.
This is Virginia Richardson, and she had a pep rally the night before the event, and they made hats for us. And they had this really wonderful welcoming of the Seattle contingent in Washington, D.C. In fact, today is her 88th birthday.
Yay, happy birthday!
Yeah, and I love her sign, and now you've pissed off Grandma. But we're all excited now with the results of the election and this a new story happening. In fact, it's not only Virginia Richardson's birthday, but it's also my brother Thomas's. Well, so happy birthday, Thomas and Virginia.
Yay! Hey, work, can we have a song really quick? Ready? This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Okay, we can go on.
I don't know that song, but I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday to everybody. And it's interesting too, because when the pandemic started, I started my isolation on my birthday, which was March 15th. And today, and today is my brother's birthday, and it's December 8th. And I have 9 brothers and sisters, and we've had to Zoom call each other. So we've celebrated 9 birthdays in my family this year, and my brother Kevin's will be in January. So we'll be Zooming for that. And I don't know if you've noticed the numbers that are on the very top of the
Not yet.
The ceiling and the wall, and those are the number of days that I've been in. We've all been quarantined.
Oh wow!
And today will be day 268.
268.
And I did that because when I'm here, I have this feeling of isolation, and where we can't be together and creating. And I wrote those numbers up on the wall to remind me, like, we've come this far. We can keep it. We can keep going.
We sure can.
And thanks to Tabasco and UK and work and all the volunteers that are helping to make this happen, we are doing the best we can to be together.
We're doing better than our best. We're doing great.
That's right. And my family's visiting on, virtually from Philadelphia, and friends, New York, everywhere around the country. Also Denver's high season.
Welcome everybody.
And so after I finished the shoot at the Rainier Square Tower in 2019, and I was like, what do I do from here? And so I decided that I was going to hit the streets again and photograph the hustle and bustle that's happening in the city. And I was going to various restaurants and art galleries during COVID, in 2019. And that's what's on the screen. I don't know if you can catch that on the computer screen up there. But those were a bunch of, and the concept behind that was to see all the restaurants and galleries open, and also there's a lot of reflection in those photographs, and the point was to have the reflection of all the construction that was happening on the streets while we were still, dining and going to galleries. And now most of the restaurants are not open. And we just had that mandate from Governor Inslee, and a lot of these restaurants are closed. So I jump on my electric bike and tool around the city, and I'm photographing the facades that are the wood facades that have gone up, and all the wonderful art that's been doing.
Beautiful.
They're stunning, heartbreaking and stunning. Yeah, so that I can still create and be on the streets photographing, and yeah, the artwork is just so inspiring, so inspiring.
You know, I think a great quote of Jack Kerouac that I love so much is life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art, imitates life.
Exactly.
And I think your work absolutely does that, especially with a lot of the relevancy of industrial build, the Women's March, the numbers on your shop, like really holding time and place for the moment that we're in, and the series that work is looking at right now of the presence of absence.
Yes, yes.
City. Oh, I just came up with that. That's good.
I love that. Yeah, somebody was saying to me earlier today, it's like, Joyce, you were photographing all the new buildings coming up, and now everything's come down and there's been a silence. And it's a time for us to just reflect on, how lucky we are and how fortunate we are, even though we are in the midst of a pandemic. And my heart goes out to people who have lost family and friends to this. We can still virtually connect, and there's so much hope. In the new year, we'll have a new president in the White House, and Kamala. I mean, hopefully, I have 2 more Women's March panels that I have created digitally, but they're not created, in person. Which is, I covered the Women's March in LA in 2000. I think I mentioned it earlier. That is all about commingling, of getting together, collaborating. And I'm taking this time now to set up those concepts and ideas, so that when we're able to get together, there's a game plan. Yeah. And not to say that I have an idea of what the work is going to look like, because I'm fortunately at a point in my creative career where I don't have to have an attachment to the outcome, that I'm able to show up for the process and see where it goes. And so much of that happens with the collaboration. And it's exciting. It's exciting to have, especially be here in Equinox and have such a vibrant community with so many different trades and whatnot. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do next. I'm such a fan of your work. I
Thank you.
Love it. I love its prevalence in Equinox Studios. I love
the
way you articulate it. So I can't wait to see what happens when you stop writing numbers on the wall.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. When I start, what happens? Yeah. It'll be exciting.
It'll be great.
Yeah. And one of the things too, I was going to talk about is so much of my work is created with technology. Sure. When I'm creating it and laying it out, and then I actually get to go into the studio and work. And while I'm trying to figure out what the next move is, I use my hands, and that was one of the reasons why this wreath for you in Tabasco was made. Because after creating those commercials, I needed to do something with my hands, and I'm like, oh, I can make this wreath for Tabasco and Kay, and then I do the wire art just so that I can have something tangible while I'm in the creative process and moving along. So art can be painting, it could be writing, it could be building, all kinds of things. So yeah, it's not a linear process.
Get it out. Whatever it is, get it out.
But happy holidays to everybody. And thank you for joining us here at Equinox. And I can't wait till next year when we're all together. What was last year? Like 7,000 people coming through with music and fire. And we're looking forward to next year as well when you guys come back. So thank you. And thank you for all your work that you've done this year.
Well, thank you, Joyce, for taking the time to show us around and talk us through your work and your visions and your next steps and your everydays.
Yeah.
And we are going to go to a commercial break at the moment. And I might have to pick up that wreath in a minute after I'm done doing this, or you can drop it off with Tabasco.
I'll drop it off with Tabasco.
How's that? With Tabasco. Hey, Tabasco, do you want to take us to a commercial break? And we can all wave bye to Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. So good to see you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
I'm Tiffany Dae, an artist here at Equinox Studios, and here are some of my paintings.
Welcome back.
And we are going to talk about, are you doing painting right now? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kristina. I'm with Photo Effect. We are right next door to Joyce. We love her. And we're an artist duo. So I'm half of the artist duo. I mostly do oil painting, although I dabble in watercolors when I get the chance. But I thought tonight I would put these back up for some fun. And I thought I'd kind of walk everybody through how I make them and like kind of what they're for, because I haven't done a series in a long time, so I thought it'd be fun to like talk about what we're looking at. Because the thing about my paintings and the thing that I love about paint is oil paint especially is paint. Like when stuff looks like it's painted, and the accidents that kind of happen and are like you can do with oil painting, where with layers and layers and patinas where things like come through underneath. So this is actually a little series. When I started to get more into like gestural things, I was looking a lot at Francis Bacon's portraits. I don't know if anyone's seen Francis Bacon's portraits, but they're really weird and they're awesome. Yeah. They look like they're moving and melting, and that was kind of where I got this kind of sense of, if you, like gestural movement, like how can you make something that's sitting still look like it's moving? And I also found that by doing that, you could play around a lot more with these patinas and like what was underneath it, etc. So I thought these were like a great example of that. Just love. And like the other thing about my paintings is people come in all the time to the studios and they're like, oh, you artists, you guys do all this stuff. I can't draw, I can't do this or anything. And the thing that I love the most about art is that you don't have to, like, no one's like an artist, right? I feel like human beings are creative. That's what we do. Like, we love to climb stuff, surf stuff, what can we do this, like build stuff, record stuff, what are we doing, like draw on walls and stuff. And that's the thing about most of the stuff that you see underneath was a mistake. It's not something that I sat down and was like, this is gonna, like right, exactly. And so that's like the thing that I kind of try to convey when people come in and they want to talk about the art, is that like it really is just a layer, like layers and layers of accidents and mistakes. And that's kind of how you build up this movement and this motion and like these beautiful like colors on top of colors. So
awesome.
So that was those.
Yeah. So so there's more than one series, or you're doing
I haven't done a series in a long time, so a lot of like these don't really, there isn't like an overarching kind of like, this is what I was doing.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. I just thought I'd put up some stuff that like really show gestural movements.
Awesome. I have one that Kate's looking at right now. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I know. I really like skulls and stuff. Yeah, it's like one of those Venetian like Fat Tuesday. Like yeah, I love those. That's so great. That's on a bucket list, right? Like get out to Venice, like during.
For real.
That would be so great. Do you guys want to come in the studio and see some more stuff? Absolutely. Or okay. Vilem is the other half of this duo. He's running around late, getting ready. So, yeah, so we've seen a couple of these before. I like, so this, I love this one. Am I in the way? I don't know.
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
I'm looking at you.
I love this one because I did a dahlia, which is actually a fall, but what inspired it was we had, the pandemic hit, which threw everything, screw that. But what I found the most amazing was here we all were like stuck in our homes. We were nervous about stuff, trying to figure stuff out in the springtime. And it didn't really matter. Like trees were coming into bloom, flowers were coming, the tulips, like everything was coming out. And so the title of this one is But the Seasons Changed Anyway. And I was kind of like holding on to that because it was this sense of like, I felt stuck. I'm sure everybody else felt stuck. But this feeling of like, but life continues on anyway, and we're gonna like continue to like move forward. Things will change, things will bloom. So yeah. Yeah. And so another thing about my paintings is they're often about like things that feel really innocuous, but they're kind of ubiquitous in our life. And because they're ubiquitous all around us, we don't take a lot of notice of them, but they signify a lot of things. They often will denote like social class or politics. It's kind of like in Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, where they talk about like a rose means this whole thing. He's got this whole like chapter on what the rose means to him and all the memories that come from it, right? But it's just a rose. And so so I was working with nostalgia before the pandemic a little bit. That's where the cassette tape kind of comes in. Because I was thinking about displacement. We had fires where people were moving, and like there's still a lot of conflict that unfortunately is kind of like fallen out of the news with the pandemic, like Yemen, Syria, Ukraine, Azerbaijan recently. And so I was thinking about things that like spark nostalgia, because if you have to throw everything that you have in your backpack and just walk away, what are you going to grab? And so this series, I don't know how successful I was with that, because I know what cassette tapes mean to me. It was like a nostalgia for when I was younger, and you'd make mixtapes for the people you liked, and like would sit at the radio and like wait to record, which like people don't do that anymore. We don't even, but I don't know. So I'm still kind of like thinking through like things that might signify like, what are you going to grab? What are you going to leave behind? What are you going to miss if there's a huge upheaval in your life, which kind of runs parallel to the pandemic. But anyway, and then the last thing that I have out for everyone is I did start something new, and I was a little dangerous, you guys. You should never paint in non-paint clothes, because it doesn't matter how careful you are. Yeah.
Nice civilian shoes.
I know, I've got a white shirt on, so like super dangerous, but I couldn't help myself. And so going back to that whole concept of accidents, I left this up because I was in here late last night and I couldn't help myself. I was like, oh, I'll just throw something. I can't have a white board out. And I put way too much turpentine on. And it was a disaster. Like the whole thing that I had, we came back today and you can see like it's like everything that I'd done is kind of melted and gone. But again, that was what I liked about it, is that like there aren't mistakes. Like the whole thing is to like try it. If it comes up as crap, like you will literally build on that. And that's what makes the paintings like so layered, and like why there's so much stuff in them, because it's literally just layers and layers of accidents and mistakes. And then I hope Sam's not watching, but I realized I was throwing the brush around and I got paint on the ceiling. So I'm going to have to.
Nothing happened, Sam.
I'm gonna have to get on the step ladder.
Tabasco says he is watching.
No, I'll clean it, Sam. I've got turpentine and a step ladder, but yeah. So I looked up today and was like, oh crap. Yes. Yeah, paint dangerously. So that's me. I just blathered on like way too long. I'm embarrassed now. So yeah.
Great. And I like the new work in progress because I hadn't known that there was too much difference there. And be like, oh, that's a cool effect.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know either. That's the thing. I was like, let's see what happens when I do this. And then I was like, oh, that was too much. I should dial it back next time. So, and this kind of goes along with, if people have been watching some of the previous streams, I was doing a lot with paper boats because they felt fragile, because I just feel like there's so much stuff right now that everything feels fragile. And so I thought like a bird. Yeah, I'm gonna run with that. I'm gonna see how that comes out. I'm not entirely sure yet, but
very cool. Small,
delicate things.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Any closing words you have? We've got your information on the screen.
Yes. Yeah, you can always buy anything you want. But so if you go to our website, which is on the screen, or you can message us through Instagram on our account there, you can grab anything from us. We do have prints. We sell magnets. We've got mugs. Yeah. So we've got, we like to make our art accessible. Yeah. Because sometimes, you need some art on your mug, or you want something on the fridge, magnets, prints. So yeah, we're swimming in merchandise over here.
Yeah. And I think I, like many people, have been looking for stuff to mail to my family.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Because that's a real thing. I can't just this antique lamp that Mom would love. I'll just pop that in FedEx for like $300 shipping.
Yeah.
That's
Tough.
not gonna happen. So
tough. I
magnets
know.
and stuff like that. Mugs are pretty shippable.
Tiny. Yeah. We got styrofoam boxes that the mugs go in. I know styrofoam. I didn't say that. That's how they send them to us. But if I can get something biodegradable, we're working on our vendors.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everyone that's come out digitally for Equinox. We miss you guys so much. Can't wait until next year.
Yeah, food and fire and people.
Yes, lots of people. we miss the gathering.
Absolutely. Well, good stuff. I think we're gonna go to a commercial break real quick.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Always.
Thanks for coming in.
We're checking out more of your prints and everything.
I can see that.
Online.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm just gonna dance until it's time for the.
Yeah, we're back. I'm ready. We're back.
Hey, we're back, everybody.
Where are we?
We are right here, and this is Vilem, everybody. We are in the same studio we were at before, but with a brand new artist. Vilem, will you give us an introduction and tell us who you are and what the heck you do?
Ooh, I am Vilem. I call on photo effect, which is here with Kristina Koenig. I do art, mostly photography, photosensitive material, mixing, but I also draw and I do installations. So it's kind of, crazy.
Well, what do you have to show us? What you got going on in here?
Let's start with this one.
Start with this one. All right, we're just going to get that.
I made this piece. Oh, okay, you guys.
Yeah, he'll get over there.
All the President's Men. You got it, right? So it started with 44, right? 44 and 0 women, right? All the President's Men. Then we thought we might put 1 here.
We might.
We were wrong. We think we were wrong. Anyway, so it changed to 45, and we know what happened, or what the hell happened there.
We do?
Well, we kind of know. So now,
this is exciting.
45 is out, 46 is in, and
ta-da!
half, or half. So when Biden retires in 3 years, she's going to automatically become a president. So she will be the first woman of color, whatever why do they call her? I don't know. But anyway, she'll be the first woman president, about time.
Whew.
So anyway, that's.
I'm so excited to see that change. You've shown this to us for a number of months. We're just like, it's just the same.
And I made this so long ago, like really seriously, like I started making it because people thought that when President Obama got the nomination, right, they thought that Hillary Clinton, and we all know what happened there.
Sure.
So he was there for a couple semesters.
But now there's change on the horizon.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. So, okay, so this is what I do.
I'll trade you places work.
I do transfers. Sorry.
It's all right. He's just gonna go ahead and there.
I like to play around. You can tell. I think I already. Well, anyway, this little thing is from a keychain for a car alarm, and I found that on the street. Oops. So I thought, hey, that's pretty nice coloration there. And I smacked it in the middle because this represents, what's going on. It's called 21st Century Zillionaire. There is a 7-year-old person who is already in our world who's going to be the first trillionaire. That person's going to actually make $1 trillion or whatever that means. Nobody makes that kind of money.
Gets that kind of money.
Know that. Anyway, that one is called Jessica Cindy Sherman, because Cindy Sherman, people know, New York artist, very good artist too.
I love that piece.
This girl,
I love that piece. I think it's so mystic and powerful and intense and simple. It's so beautiful.
So this is in Laguna Beach, California, and this is a friend of ours, mine, and this is actually a bathroom door, right? The front door. And you ask, it's a rich area. Why didn't you have enough money to put like a real door? But why did you put to people to look inside? I don't know. It's
good
just
question.
weird. So I told her, give me this Hitchcock look. So I said, look in there first, and then quick quick look back to the camera, you know.
So this is photo transfer work,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Will you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Well, normally I photograph on film, then I make a larger print, then I mix some kind of chemicals, don't tell the government. Anyway, and I make, it's called chemical peel.
Okay.
Photograph is kind of always working. That's why when you buy a photograph, people tell you never put it against the window because the light and the sun and everything, you know, destroys the chemical.
Right.
Okay? It
right.
yellows it and greens and whatever. So what I do, I use chemicals that react to photosensitive material. So then I smack it on wood or anything. I can do it on a jacket, I've done some crazy stuff. So I did really big mural. Anyway, and so that's how I.
It's such a beautiful effect.
It's kind of complicated, and it's not. You have to roll it up like imagine old New York or European cities when they roll up posters, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it's kind of I roll up the sensitive material, photosensitive material, on that print, and then I let it sit there, and then I peel it off.
That's amazing. I think the effect is just so beautiful. That piece in particular always catches my eye.
Why I like to do this stuff still, even I don't do enough of it, because it never comes out perfectly. It's like
nice.
painting. Never. I mean, I try. Maybe it's me, okay? It is probably, but like if you see the lines, I painted over, right? You can see that actually. Hey, what is that? This used to be called Rockefeller, okay? Because of the hat,
right?
And the boots, right?
Sure.
Anyway, so but then you go with the times. So I changed the name. It's okay, and we're all liars. So anyway,
that's a great piece too, though. I love the gray and the black in that, and then the color blocking. Like, because it's fantastic.
If anybody thinks that technology is going to stop or postpone the evolution of us, of the world, must be crazy.
They are wrong.
It can, and yes, it will leave, and it's leaving a lot of people behind, but it is what it is, I guess. I hate that phrase. So that one I made 2 years back.
Oh, and it's in the holiday spirit.
Yeah. Special Exxon Mobil, because remember when gas was like $5 a gallon?
Oh gosh, yes, I sure do.
When the war started, the Iraqi war.
Yeah.
Many years ago, it was still there.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I like. I like it more and more. I think the Bizarria 54. It's kind of weird. It's a police LAPD homicide photograph from the 50s, and they deemed it suicide.
Do you mean this one on the wall over here?
That one, yeah. But they claimed it was a suicide. Well, you don't have to be MD to realize if you cannot have flat feet on the ground and die of suffocation. Okay. So anyway, so I like this photograph, and it's public domain. They let me use it. So, and I like the stamp. The stamp I got somewhere, I don't know where, a few bucks.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's a disturbing photograph, but also the juxtaposition of those stamps over it and that light blue, that hopeful blue color, really is a very thoughtful piece.
And you know why I did that little strip on the top is gold, right? Because in Renaissance time, gold, blue, and white were the most expensive colors.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And technically, only the richest, like the church and, the richest people in Europe could afford that. So they hired, all these famous painters. And so I said, and the green, I don't know why I did the green on the bottom, but
it's a powerful piece.
Yeah. Oh, it won some prize. I have to. Hey, at the Seattle. What is it called? The Seattle Erotic Art Festival.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
I won a couple of years ago.
Nice. I love that show. It's a great show.
Yeah, it is a great show.
Really good.
And there are other places like New York and San Francisco. They do great job too.
Seif is amazing though. Seif, like hands down, so good. Such a good show.
I like what Seattle does.
So I also see you've got some sculptures hanging out around here. What do you have for some sculptural pieces?
Oh yeah. Okay. You're gonna laugh. So this one, Kristina hates it, but this has a blue background, this big, and it's hanging inside a frame, heavy duty wooden frame with a background and with gold stars or white stars, and it confuses people, and which is I'm fine. Who cares, right? Because I call it white, strong white arm. Okay.
I can see that.
And I made it many years ago, and way before the whole thing with killing so many black people, in a span of a year or so.
Yeah.
So before 2019 or so. So I made this like 2010 probably, and so I thought, when will we question why so many people die with I didn't question blacks or whites or whatever, I questioned how are cops trained? And I know some cops and they're decent people and everything, and they deserve to go home like anybody else after their shift, right? But what do they do first? Do they like pull a gun and start shooting? And we've seen actually exactly just what I just explained.
Yeah.
Some of them just start shooting. And I'm so I start questioning. So I made that piece, but I also start questioning how we send those people, cops, men and women, to places and they see things and then they get another call 30 minutes later. It's virtually impossible for any human to think clearly about another bad thing that they see. Maybe we need to really rethink how we train people. And so anyway,
I see that absolutely as a question of training.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. Mm-hmm. This one.
All of your work has a questioning political bent to it, which I like.
I do believe that every art is a social commentary,
Like I said earlier, Jack Kerouac, life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art.
Absolutely, yeah. So the bigger fish needs the little fish to become the big fish. Like everybody wants to be the big guy, the top of the heap, right? So I said, how? So I write little things too, and so people always tell me, why don't you do some art? And you can think about what you wrote and make. That's many years ago. So I
love this piece actually.
Yeah,
it's great.
And because who doesn't want to be the big kahuna? You know what I mean? The big fish, right?
Right.
We all want to be loved or admired or whatever, we all want to be told, hey, what you're doing means something, or so anyway. So that one.
And that one.
Yeah, you guys have to. Okay, so this is a funny one. So I just put it there, and one day I left it there. So how art imitates stuff, right? Life or whatever. So when we went to Iraqi war and the gas was $5 a gallon, I said, dude, I can't believe this. Why don't those countries, the rich countries, give us a break? Or why don't we start getting our own, right?
Right.
So, because who pays for all this? The poorest of the poor, okay? They don't have extra $50 a week overnight if they make $5-6 an hour. I mean, today it's like 10 or 15. But
it's still,
it
yeah,
doesn't
paltry.
matter, So I make this and I put this. This is actually a Christmas ornament, a very expensive one, a French antique, and I ruined it, right? Because anything for art. And I put this thing, this little car. It looks like little Fiat or something.
It does look like a Fiat, yeah. It's little Citron.
Tank, like a military, right? And I use little thing from a film, 35mm film for petrol. Because in Europe, around the world, they don't call it gas or fuel. They call it petrol.
Yeah, well, of course.
Civilized.
Civilized.
But we're special, so hey. So I start playing all with this. And then I found this actually, an artist in Portland. He made a lamp and then he threw it out or something. I don't remember anymore, but I know that I found this piece and I said, hey, that would fit my thing because this did not have a leg. Then I found this, and this is an original from a gas station. Right?
Nice. The hose.
Nozzle. The nozzle. And so I said, hey, this, because it really means that at one point we're all pissed on.
So true.
Okay?
So true.
It's just true.
So true.
And if it's whoever it is, wherever White House, why is it called White House?
Do your history.
Yeah. And I'm sure there is so anyway, and then I put Statue of Liberty sticker on this, and you can turn it around. And then when all this shooting started happening, I said, I'm just gonna add. So I added. It looks like a top, and there is this. How would I say this?
It's like a rebel.
A rebel, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, rebel.
Yeah.
Right to the right.
I see the layout. Yeah.
Yeah, because you will not take my gun away.
I love it, Vilem.
I love my guns.
This is fantastic. Do you also have, I saw over here, maybe you can grab some shots of the prints that are for sale over here, because you probably take money for your work too, right, Vilem?
Yeah, I do. I actually take money and gold and silver and platinum and livers.
And apparently people's pants. We talked about this earlier.
And nice boots. I take anything of value because I know people in places and I can.
Well, I would say if you love Vilem's work, which I really recommend that, I mean, I hope you do. I love the photo overlay and the political commentary. Please look him up. His information is on the screen here in Photo Effects Studio. Flipping this now. Is this your comment? Berlin Wall, no more. Yes. Trumpet project, noise. That's a good one. Well, Vilem, do you have any last words to say? We're going to head on over to a commercial break, but do you have any parting words?
Stay tuned. Thank you for everything you guys do because it's a lot of work.
Well, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, we will, and hopefully without
the mask at some point.
I was going to say something, and he gave me that look. I almost said that, but I go, oh, he said you can say things after. Okay, so
awesome.
I won't say it.
Well, there are magnets and mugs and prints. So y'all, if you're interested in Vilem's work or Kristina's work, please take a look at their store, their website, Studio Effects. Is that right?
Yes.
It's on, Photo Effects. It's on the screen right now. So give them a look. And I think we're going to head to a commercial break right now. So take it away, Tabasco.
Take it away, Tabasco.
Hello, I'm multimedia artist Joyce McAndrews in Equinox Studio 127 in the factory. Project Commingle is all about art building community, merging various sectors in our community, not just like-minded, but those with opposing views. This project began in 2015 when I came across a hand-painted sign on the corner of a job site that read Commingle. I thought it was the construction team encouraging the community to all get along during construction of yet another city block. To my surprise, I gained unprecedented access to the site. After several visits shooting, I found the true meaning of the Commingle sign. It was not a community outreach. Instead, it was the area on the site that was more or less the dumpster. I followed the crew for 5 years at a time when our city was divided in regards to Amazon's growth. I documented the rise of the Troy block and the Rainier Square Tower. I wanted to test my vision of the 3D panel concept. So I turned to the late, great Melinda Hannigan, known as the Rust Queen. Melinda had a studio in Big Blue. She created these large-scale, magnificent oil paintings of colors, textures, and markings on the working ships in the port of Seattle. Melinda granted me creative liberty to incorporate sections of her painting, which were photographed by Michelle Smith-Lewis, another photographer here. The panels were designed and built in John Kirschenbaum's woodwork studio in Big Blue as well. John brought my vision scribbled on a napkin to fruition. Hannigan's fleet surfaced, becoming the prototype for future panels, including the Troy block and the Women's Marches in Washington, D.C. Future panels will include the Women's March in LA and Seattle, the March for Our Lives, Black Lives Matter March from 2018. Please visit my website. All panels and photographs exhibited on my site are available for sale.
All right, work. What did you ask if it's fun? Oh, that was super fun.
I don't know, was it fun, Gage? I think
it was pretty fun. I think it ranks on the fun meter for sure. It's always a pleasure to see Joyce and Kristina, and Vilem is always a trick. I'm glad he kept his pants on, but that's always a risk, you know? One of these days, maybe we'll get lucky. Anyway.
So we're walking down the hall, and we're going to see the Gage studio.
Studio A. That's right. I'll follow you in. I've got a mic for our person here.
Say hey.
We just sanitized this mic, but if you could put it somewhere near your face hole.
Okay.
Like here-ish or wherever feels comfortable.
Right here. I think that should do. Is that better? Is that clear? Perfect. Awesome.
So I can obviously see a lot of really talented artwork here.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it. Who are you?
Of course. Hi, I'm Morgan Patten. I'm the Student Services Coordinator at Gage Academy of Art. And I've also actually been a part of the Georgetown Atelier last year.
Okay.
So I know this place pretty well. Yeah. So up here, we see some pretty amazing paintings done by Tanaya Sims. He's the lead instructor of the Georgetown Atelier. So this atelier primarily focuses on classical drawing and painting, but also it has an imaginative realism aspect to it that students can choose to kind of pursue if they like. There's a range of styles. If you look up the art across the walls, these are done by past students. So we have actually, who is one of the part-time instructors here. He does a lot of amazing plein air work and a lot of great contemporary work as well. So he also brings sort of a contemporary element to the Georgetown Atelier. That's done by alumni, Brett Knuckles, who I studied with last year. And quite a few of these are done by, past alumni. This is done by Tiffany Dae, the lovely Tiffany Dae, who also has a studio out there. Yeah, she's great, and she's also a part-time instructor here, along with Christopher Remmers, one of his big paintings over there. Pretty cool, right next to Tanaya Sims. So I think he just did that one recently. But yeah, he's also a great instructor here. And so, yeah, this is the work. It's really cool to see, and it's a very intensive program. So all the students have their studies, and they do projects throughout the year. So
this is the housing for one program that everyone kind of goes through the same time structure.
Yeah, so it's a 3-year program primarily. So first year you do drawing. Second year you do painting in grisaille, which is black and white. And then third year is the year in color. So finally, you get to do color paintings. And it's also kind of your thesis year, if you like to think about it that way, where you kind of make your big works. You get to focus on, okay, what do I want to do as an artist? So it's kind of the culmination of all these things. And yeah, we even have a... Oh, of course.
No, you're doing fine, Marty. You've got Joyce.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome.
Not pointing quite the right way. You can fix it.
No, Vicky. Yeah, we even have a student up here working on a cast project. So she's working hard. Reminds me of last year. A lot of the times it would be early mornings, get your coffee nearby, and stay late. And yeah, it's really awesome. So Studio A houses a Georgetown Atelier, and then over in Studio B, which we can take a look at. And you're welcome to come up along here. This kitchen area used to be used a lot more. Of course now, not so much, but people do, leave their stuff here, and yeah, enjoy the space.
For everybody.
Oh yeah. Apparently a story about this wood. Apparently one of the instructors, I can't remember who, but they told me that this wood was from a ship, actually. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Crazy.
Don't know if it's true, but I think it is. I would hope so. It is correct? We have it confirmed. Alrighty, let me find a light here. Light, where are the... Oh,
A very immersive experience. Find the light. I think it's over here. Where are you? No, that's the heater. I think maybe downstairs it might be a little bit better. Whoop. Don't want to push anything. Okay. Here, I'll get the light first. All right. Okay, come on. You're somewhere here. As you can tell, I don't. There it is. Beautiful. Aha. Okay. There we go. I can see. Okay, sweet. So this is Studio B. So this is where, and you guys are welcome to walk on down. So Studio B is where the Flack Atelier and Kimberly Trowbridge's atelier meet up, or, well, where there's live streams. So Flack meets up here around once a week with his students, and then he meets up at our north location up in Capitol Hill once a week. And then Kimberly streams from here and also from her studio. So yeah, so here's some of Flack's work. Now he is, his atelier is a drawing atelier, so primarily focused on drawing and structure, and we see a lot of the structural anatomy, kind of constructing the head, the torso, really gorgeous work. And we see more of his work here. We're going over spheres. And then knees, legs, all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Are you guys always taking on new students, or how's that working?
We are always taking new students, correct. And then also something to note, you know, with COVID going on, we still offer ways for our students to learn. So if you can't, for whatever health reasons, or let's say you live in a different state but still want to participate, we do live streaming and also have online ateliers as well. So I know our Still Life atelier is all online. And then for our other ateliers, we do offer live streaming. So if students want to work from the model, it can be live streamed. And then also the demos, we can offer, like, give recordings to those students. And we're able to make it work. So the instructors will still work with that student, you know, give them critiques, give them what they need, and they'll still be able to learn. So yeah, we try to make it work for every student. And but yeah, for the students that, you know, still want to do in person, we, you know, do have all these, like, sort of health regulations in place to keep it safe. We have the models wear masks, students wear masks, of course, and yeah, it's been going great so far, and, you know, people have been making amazing work. So yeah, really loving it.
And so many sort of stages of both the artwork coming together and the learning process. You know, that's always really interesting. Kind of try to piece together from, you know, standpoint of mind that isn't exactly like a visual artist. So
exactly. Yeah.
Still? Yeah. I don't know.
There we go.
Is his mic on?
Yes.
His mic is on.
But is it working?
I love your guys' hats, by the way. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool.
And you know, we just every year for the Equinox Very Open House, there's blue light. It's flooded in all sorts of merriment, and we wanted to, you know, at least have a droplet in that merry bucket this year.
Of course, of course. Last year's was amazing. I had a grand old time. Yeah, it was my first time participating, and so yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. But anyways, this is some of the work.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better.
Sweet.
All right. Well, amazing.
Awesome.
Well, sorry, not to jump in, but
Please jump in.
you said last year was your first time for the big Equinox open house.
Yes.
Isn't it such an amazing event?
It's the most amazing event. So I invited my family to come to the open house, and it was their first time visiting Georgetown.
Nice.
And they loved it. Like, my sister was like, there's how did she say? She kind of compared it to Portland in a way. The sort of DIY, you know, all the artisans. She really liked that aspect of it, and I love that aspect of it. All of the like food trucks out, and like there was singers and performers, and it was amazing. My friends came down and they're like, "Wow, Georgetown has like a lot to offer," and like it was amazing. So, you know, whenever that can,
Whenever it comes back,
it'll be great. But for now, this will do. You know.
For sure. We're happy to be here, and you know, you heard it here, folks. Whenever people are possible again,
yes,
then Georgetown will be a great place, and we'll see you there. But do you have any closing statements for the world at large? You know, we talked about the amazing artwork that's possible here to explore and learn talent and you know, go through those stages. 3-year program, is that right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much anyone could hear me, but I'm sure they heard you, and that's the important part.
You did pretty
amazing.
good.
I love walking around and seeing what everybody is drawing and painting and learning.
Yeah.
Anything you want to send us away with?
Yeah. So you know, that's the key to the program. It's a everyday sort of thing where you're just kind of slowly drawing, slowly observing, and it seems kind of slow at first, but then you look at all this work that you make, and it's incredible. And yeah, I definitely would love to, you know, return to the program someday, or just, you know, yeah, it's incredible, and definitely recommend if anyone is interested. We do offer tons of scholarships every year. Donor scholarships. So we do offer resources for people that, you know, are like, hey, this program seems cool. And so you're like, hey, maybe does it offer? Yes, we do. And yeah, you're welcome to call.
We've got some information from you guys on the screen right now. So that's excellent. And yeah, it's very cool. I love just being in here and seeing everything that people are doing, and then see come out as well, because so many artists that we've talked to on this tour, then, oh yeah, you know, I took part in that a while ago, and I just moved next door, and I'm still doing great, and it's, yeah, you know, it's fun to see.
It is. Absolutely. It really is. Yeah, I miss this place, so it's always nice to come back and, you know, really see the work. So
very cool.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Well, I think we're gonna head to a commercial break pretty soon, and it's lovely to come and hang out, and I'm sure we'll see you next year at least, hopefully sooner.
Of course. You as well.
For sure.
if you can clamp it on your shirt there. Hi, everybody. We're back with Monica here in the lovely container yard. She's going to bring us into her studio. Show us the way, Monica.
Welcome. So usually during the big open house, we would have this door open, but for cozy purposes, we're going to come in here.
Ooh.
Oh.
So turn that off?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
There we go.
great. Well, welcome to my humble abode. My name is Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Hi.
What do you do here? What's your thing?
I do lots of different things right now.
Vanessa's got your slideshow going right now, just so you know.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you'll be able to see all of the year on that slideshow. It's kind of funny. The last 2 open houses that I've done here, that's how long I've been with Equinox. This would be my 3rd.
Nice.
I have always like come in so hot, like my house is a mess and my studio is a mess and there's art everywhere. And it's just like until the very moment that people start coming in, I'm like working hard.
Ting.
And this year I was like, well, I don't have anything ready because this year was all about bigger canvases for me. I was painting walls and painting cars and studios.
So we're seeing on the slideshow right now a VW bug, the yellow VW bug.
Yeah, it was a chicken coop project that they wanted at Hippie Chicks.
Oh, that's
on
adorable.
board, which is pretty
That's
cute.
adorable.
Yeah, I actually met them here. They're a Vashon, really sweet Vashon couple.
Nice.
And I went to high school over there, so they had a piece of my heart. So I guess this year has been really interesting for me because it started with having 7 jobs, and then it went to having 0 jobs.
Oh, shoot.
And art was my, I guess, like method of survival and just helped me mentally get through it. I'm a Reiki master and I teach yoga.
Nice.
And so I was like, I am made for this. I've been training. And so I went online with all of my things. I created, I painted. And what really took the show though this year and what I probably made and spent a lot of my energy was creating malas. And I don't know if they're up yet.
We're looking at empty space right now.
Not yet. Oh, not yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So good. Can't live with that tech support.
So those are crystal jewelry. I'm working with crystals.
Beautiful.
I found with everybody hurting and in a lot of anxiety going on and a lot of confusion, really needed that connection with earth. And I've been making them for a while. They're a mala is a meditation garland. They originate in India. It's called a japa mala. Japa is recite for mantras. Mala is a meditation garland. And so the idea, there's 108 beads. So you recite a mantra 108 times and go around. When you get to the guru bead at the bottom, it's the teacher stone. You know that you've made it around 108 times. I like working with crystals because they all have their own little special superpowers. So I've made them for people that are grieving or going through major transitions or illnesses, cancer patients, people that are getting divorced and just coming like needing that extra support. So that kind of took over and I've made many, and hopefully many more.
What a powerful year for it. We've had such crazy moons, like the beaver moon that just happened. Like there have been a bunch of really powerful moons this past year, which like so ties in with crystals and
totally
re-energizing.
Totally. And I was
it's a good year for crystals.
It's a good year for crystals, a good year to be a healer. Like I said, like I feel like I've been training for this and just trying to shine the light. The very first picture of the slideshow was actually my grandmother.
I saw that.
And she started the year off. I took a journey to North Dakota to say goodbye to her. And it was a very powerful experience. I practiced Reiki on her, and it was the first person after I had gotten my Reiki 1 and 2 that I had practiced on.
Beautiful.
And it was just this really good experience. And she had like this outlook about her transition that was like, she wasn't afraid. And just like, I just want to be at peace. I'm not afraid. And I feel like that was the type of mindset. She passed just a couple weeks later. And you would never know looking at that picture. She like looked so good. I thought I was going to see her again, just vibrant. And we had this really great visit. And it just kind of set me mentally in the tone for what was to happen and how much loss we were going to experience and how much everything was going to change and how much it like was so important to take care of self and spirit and my own personal mental health and then help others with that capacity.
Well, what a powerful thing to be able to do as an artist, to be able to switch mediums from, you know, big paintings and that kind of work to really more internalized, focused, like shamanic, meditative mindfulness. Work in a year when we really need it. Like we need to say mantras. We need to go step by step through what's going on. So like kudos to you for being able to shift.
Thank you.
and use your creativity to do what the world needs. That's really an inspiring story. I'm stoked to hear it.
Thank you. It's been really powerful. It's been really powerful. And there's, you know, I've still painted. I'm still
good.
These hands are busy. But and then I'm doing online events. I host women's circles once a month online. When we were in person, we were squeezing them in my yard. I got a set of crystal sound bowls. Those are up on the slideshow somewhere. Those have been a really powerful tool to have. There's a Reiki table in here that transformed the space from the messy art studio that it was into a little neater. It still gets to be quite the mess, but also I've been using it as a healing space for people to come and receive if they need that extra help.
It feels really great in here.
Thank you for saying that.
It feels really, and it's warm. It's really nice.
Thank you for saying that. I've got 3 heaters.
Yes, girl, yes.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, so your information is up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
If people are interested in any of the things you've been talking about, in paintings, in mandalas, is that the right word?
Malas,
sorry, mandalas.
Yeah, mandala is a thing. Those are the circles like what the Tibetan monks make in the caves.
Right.
And then they wipe away to remember impermanence.
Which are so cool.
Yeah.
Or Reiki work. Can they get a hold of you? Or are you taking new people to come in and be part
I'm
of your
treating
sphere?
it as like a massage, you know, like if you go to get a massage, like mass on, sign a waiver, come see me. I do a lot of work to make sure that the space is energetically and physically clean. So you can email me or Facebook or Instagram. You can call me whatever you need. Probably not.
That is so old school.
You could. I know. Yeah. Hit me up on my pager. I'm just
okay. Starting to feel my age here a little bit. Well, I think people absolutely should. This feels really great. Work, do you feel like the space is amazing? How do you feel about this space?
I feel like it's a super warm and welcoming space.
He feels like it's a warm and welcoming space.
You know, body work and Reiki and stuff in the past, and I would be happy to pass out on the table here for a little while.
Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. So I want to show you something before
we want to see it.
I did break out last year. If you would have come in here, you would have seen a lot of maps, which you probably saw.
I did.
On there. Those are cool. I use natural ingredients mixed with this really cool French paint, and I'll like take things out of my garden, calendula, rose, just like
beautiful
salt, earth, making maps. And I also love to paint glass. So I'm pretty excited about this bird that's coming out right now. I'm painting this big hawk.
Great. Let me take a look over here.
Yeah, my camera's on the first.
That's okay.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this is on glass.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So what's cool about painting on glass is you can layer it. You can layer it on multiple pieces. You can layer it from the back to the top. And I have a couple more pieces over here that I'm working with, and one that I'm like very excited about.
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Hang on, I'll take just one more second here to get a little bit of the detail of these feather wings, these tail wings. Beautiful.
It's cool. It almost works as, I've never worked with alcohol ink, but when I see alcohol ink, it reminds me of that same kind of the way that they melt together.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Look at your little adorable face.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I appreciate that. I actually took off his head and redid his face, so thanks for saying that. And then I have this little present over here. I call it a present. So I was listening to your interview was it Kristina?
Yeah.
And she was saying that like really resonated with me, was saying that like art is just never goes as planned, right? I think and that's like, I think that's an important, the creative process right now in this year that we're having. And even if you don't like feel that you're a creative person, it's still that meditation of going somewhere. And sometimes you make things that are like, wow, I'm really proud of that and it's awesome. And sometimes you create things and you're like, wow, that was really frustrating. That was very disappointing. but it's still that meditation of going somewhere else and being able to just explore, express, experiment.
Right.
And that's
try.
Just
try.
Yeah. And sometimes there's these little things that happen, like when you're painting Mount Tahoma, and a mountain I've been looking at, and I painted a couple different layers, and all of a sudden these snowflakes appeared. And I didn't plan for it. I don't know if it could ever happen again. I don't know how I did it, but I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna hold it up for you too, so you can see, like, it almost looks like little icicles.
It really does.
So that was one of those magical moments of like, okay, you're good.
That's it.
Until the
real nice portrait
next
of
time.
that mountain.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Been trying to learn that name, so formally not
Tahoma?
right here, but it's Tahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
think that's important.
Well, you're just doing all of the things.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
great.
it's kind of how
great.
it always is with me. I've like I said, I had 7 jobs before. So I'm just naturally a hustler anyways. And it's always been that way, like since I could get a job, before you.
Well, now you're hustling so many different types of like really connected art.
Yeah, it's nourishment, right? Nourishment through art and movement and healing. And I'm actually I was teaching yoga at a psychiatric hospital before all of this.
Wow.
And I had to take a break. And I think that step back has really fueled the creativity as well. When you're putting out that much, it's really hard to like have some for yourself at the end of the day. And so I feel all fueled up and ready to go, but I'm ready to dive back into that work again. But it falls under that same umbrella of feeling and feeling good and that nourishment for your heart and soul.
Well, it feels fueled up in here. It feels.
Thank you for saying that.
I wouldn't say it feels on fire. It feels like the nice warm embers that you can like, just like nestle around. Like the really fiery bit is gone, but now we're just like at a cool, steady burn.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
I like those fires because they're the warmest.
Right.
The embers
precisely.
are like the hottest, and they'll like last all night, and then you can like put another log on it, and it'll fume right back up.
Cook some food, make some tea,
and all the above. Hot toddy time.
Oh.
It's hot toddy time.
I'm going to do the hand thing too. Yeah.
This is raise the roof.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you letting us come into your wonderful, warm, inviting space. Is there anything you'd like to say to the folks out there, your friends, your family, people who've never met you as we wander away from your warm, cozy studio?
Friends, family, all who haven't met me, I love you. And please reach out if you need any additional support, whether it's through me or anybody else, and maybe pick something up and try to create. And there's no wrong way to do it. So that's that out of the head and do it because it feels good.
Absolutely.
And not because it needs to look away.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What a pleasure to get to come in here.
Thank you.
And while we wave goodbye, we're going to go to a commercial break. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Do this. Get a hold of this space. It's amazing.
Thank you.
All right, Tabasco.
Hi, my name is Joyce McAndrews, multimedia artist and street photographer in Studio 127 in the factory at Equinox in Georgetown. After documenting the rise of the Rainier Square Tower in 2019, I started my new project, Twilight, hitting the Seattle streets to capture our city's bustling neighborhoods as construction continues, photographing the swirl of activity both on and off the street at dusk, revealing the construction reflected on the windows of the restaurants and art galleries. Twilight came to a screeching halt in March when Seattle's quarantine began. My first gallery appointment during COVID was to see Lakshmi Mirhead's show, There Is Always a Before, at J. Reinhardt Gallery in Pioneer Square. I missed seeing Lakshmi in the hall at the factory at Equinox when she was taking classes at Gage. When it was safe for restaurants to reopen, my first visit was to Cafe Press. My next-door neighbor, James O'Hearn, is the chef there. I dined with his partner, Diana, and my friend, Robin Freeman. We ordered the infamous chicken liver terrine with the dried cherry compote, along with the duck confit with French green lentils and black currants. As soon as Governor Inslee's mandate is lifted, I plan to dine at Terra Plata. Here's a shot taken last year when Tamara Murphy's place was packed. I long for those days when I can feast with friends. In the meantime, help support local restaurants by ordering takeout, and during the holidays, join in Feed a Family through the Food is Love project with Terra Plata and send a meal to a family in need. I'm returning to the galleries and restaurants I photographed in 2019 to shoot the boarded facades where once we gathered. I look forward to the new year ahead and a time when we can commingle again. Happy holidays.
You're a good boy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're at Paper Studios right here, and we're about to say hi to everybody, including an adorable puppy face. Puppies are very important for art, aren't they? Aww.
We say that this is our studio assistant, Louie.
Studio assistant Louie.
Yes.
Oh,
sorry. Yep. He's very enthusiastic, which is great.
As we all are. Art's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Great. So for new viewers out there, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you're all about.
Okay. No problem. So I'm Tiffany Dae. I'm a painter here at Equinox Studios. I am a transplant of the Georgetown Atelier. I studied there as a student, and then now I'm an instructor. I know, like Sam Morgan. How sweet. Yeah. So I very much love that community, and I love that I can kind of be part of both Equinox and Gage as a member.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's kind of the background of it. I specifically paint oil paintings, and I would say that you could qualify or categorize them, if you will, as imaginative realism, which I suppose you could also say magical realism or magical or fantastical or many, many other things. Within the art realm, that's so difficult to sort of say, but
they oftentimes have a fantastical kind of quality to them. Whimsical is often as well.
Very
and
nice.
yeah. The main thing that I think I'm trying to achieve when I'm painting them or composing them is something that I said last time, which was I'm chasing curiosity. So oftentimes I think that they're asking questions. And I don't necessarily know that any of them will ever have answers to those questions. And I think that that's one of the best things about questions that are really good questions, is there isn't really an answer to them. And so I think for this time, I wanted to show you that I have a finished painting that I've just done that you only saw the underpainting to last time. And so we'll come over here. So that's this piece. And it was all just pink underpainting last time. And so it's of a local model here. And we're actually doing a shoot for something that was a totally different piece that was going to be about the fates and whether or not they existed. And that's asking about fate in general. But it was going to be like a three-person giant sort of epic painting in that regard. And then I just was looking through, like, we went out to Vashon Island and we shot pictures, and I was looking through them, and one of them had this expression, like I had to zoom in quite far, and it was just so painful because I wanted the fates piece to sort of reflect the chaos of the times when it's asking the question about, is it fate that this is happening? It's like, why? It's really the underlying question to all of that, right? And so I don't know, it was something about her expression. And I think it was because I was asking her to think about all of the things that were happening at the moment. And it was just one of those things where it's like, that's a painting, right? That moment you see that image, it's like inspiration has hit, like that's a postcard flash in your head, like light bulbs are going off. And yeah, absolutely. I was really, it was like in the time that I like had zoomed in on this picture, it was like a couple of days until the painting underpainting stage. And so yeah, I'm calling it Sad Eyes, and I think I really wanted to paint it big. I even considered doing it bigger than this. Like I told you guys last time too, is that I had done one that was portrait, and that was so painful. And then this was the opposite side, and I had never painted something this large. Oh, wow. And so that was really fun to do. But I wanted you to not be able to ignore her. You know, sometimes I think we can shy away from the pain of things, and you can kind of like easily just like disassociate almost. And so I wanted it to be like, nope, you're here and you're sitting with her, and we're kind of empathizing, and we're asking her why, you know, and things. So, so that's kind of this particular piece. It's got some gold leafing along the edge that is a little messy at the moment, so I'm going to kind of clean that up. But it's actually headed to a gallery in Colorado called A Bend, and so they're having a figurative show in January. So it's going to go to them. So I'm really happy. Amazing. This like feels like an accomplishment.
Yeah, from start to finish. That's
absolutely
great. No, I like it a lot. It definitely, you know, it's like you're about to have a conversation. She's got a lot to say.
Absolutely, yeah, and I love that. You know, I'm as a woman, I have a lot to say. So I'm very happy when other women do too, because I think some of the most meaningful conversations come from those people who aren't given the opportunity to speak quite often. You know, and so
absolutely.
Hooray for that. I think that's probably an underlying thing with a lot of my work. I do paint a lot of women in general. And so I think, you know, actually even these two pieces over here, they're almost like so there's three up on the wall, but these two that are on the left are of these two women. And the questions that those two are asking specifically are about the ideal when it comes to women and beauty. And they're almost on opposite ends of the spectrum. One of them has like this editorial, like high fashion kind of feel.
For sure.
And then the other one feels almost like more traditional, like goddess kind of feeling. But what I love about it is that there's like underlying concepts underneath the two of them. So like this editorial one, she's like literally wasting away and she's so thin, her dress is like hanging on her, and there's like garbage underneath the dress as well, that it's just like, there's so many things that it's like, just because it looks like it's the ideal now, there's like underlying things that are like quite wrong or alarm bells. And then this other one that is like, it's very traditionally beautiful, but what I loved about it was that it's a collaboration, and that I didn't take a photo for it. It's, well, some of these I don't do, and some of these I do locally, but for this particular piece, it was this art model, Shannon, that I follow her on Instagram, and she just had these beautiful poses of her, and she's like, I think in her late 40s, early 50s, but she's also a plus size woman. And so she just like takes all of these amazing self-portrait photos. And it was like, wow, no one really paints her as the like traditional beauty, right? It's always like a very young maiden. It's like specifically, kind of yeah, exactly. Like we all can picture that beauty. Like even the Botticelli's Venus is that exact portrayal, right? And so this was my way of showing that like a woman that is older, that is like gorgeous and also plus size, can be this like goddess. And so celebrating that as well in sort of opposition to what the beauty is in so many ways. And so
for sure,
I think, yeah, the pieces for me have I do a lot of planning and they have a lot of concept underneath. I'm not quite the, let's see what happens. Right. I very much know what I'm going to be painting as soon as I sort of get into it, but.
Definitely. Well, I mean, you know, great ideas. It's all turning out really well. For sure.
Yeah. And then that piece on the right is called Burning, but I really think it should have just been like called 2020. Yeah.
With the sort of two extreme, I don't know, extremes of beauty, but two you know, ends of beauty. I like that. With the one, the face is obscured or you know, kind of, you said wasting away, the whole thing's wasting, but you can't connect with the person. It's not as real. She's not as real. She doesn't really have like a exact face. And then the other, you're looking into, you know, the faces, eyes are the window of the soul, the kind of things. That's a nice juxtaposition as well.
Absolutely. And I think there's something to be said about the female gaze as well, and like versus the male gaze in art. I think that that's a conversation that's so interesting, that traditionally the male gaze is the thing that has been celebrated. And then when it comes to even the amount of work of men in museums over time as like a historical collection of this is what we value, it's mainly work that is been done from the male perspective. And it's like a 2%-ish, you know, of museum work is done by women, even in the last like 100 years. It's insane to me. This is not, you know, this is also modern times. I think it's the Baltimore Museum of Art that actually decided they were going to take a year and only accept women into their new collection, because they were like trying to figure out how to tip the scales. And I think that a lot of that is because we're still valuing the male gaze, right? In terms of it's like there's more women painters out there than there are men, but we value the male gaze more. So there's like that disparity in terms of the celebration of the work. And so I think her interacting with you, like it can feel like that pose can be really like come hither almost in a way, because it's like you're really seeing a lot of her body, but it's like there's nothing that's necessarily like sexual about it. It's like a power in her own body. And there's something about that that I think is really worth exploring too, you know, because you could very easily over sexualize that pose in like different ways, right? But just because a woman is posed in that way doesn't mean it has to be sexual, and even understanding sort of that subtlety and difference, I think is cool.
Definitely.
I have a lot to say, like I said.
Yeah, no,
we could have a lot of like tea and hang out.
For sure. And well, I don't know, if this were a different year, there would be a few thousand people here. We wouldn't have time for tea, but
we certainly have wine at those events. And then I talk even more than I do now.
Next year, we'll put it on the calendar for sure. And then tell me what Kay's looking over at some of your smaller portraits, and it looks like you've got some like little purses or bags and some other stuff. We've got your information on the screen, as we do, and I assume at least some of this stuff is for sale, but tell me about what you've got going on.
Sure. Yeah, we wanted to show the different types of merch that we normally do. So this is basically what our setup would be like during the regular event. And so we have tote bags that are, all of this is on the website. So just tiffanydae.com/shop. And we have tote bags. We have like little pencil bags or makeup bags. We've got back here, we have canvas prints that are very close to the original, but they're a limited edition. So they come framed, and we'll only make 100 of those, like in that particular style. Or if those are too expensive, you know, so if you want something kind of in between an original and a paper print, those are a good option. And then we have regular paper prints that are over here by Kay that are
very nice.
That are on like an archival matte paper that are done by the Color Group. That's like a local print shop. So yeah, that's something I really hate, that art is a luxury item. It's one of the things that hurts me most, because I am a very normal person and I don't necessarily want to cater to people whom are very wealthy, you know, exclusively. That's something that I think is really kind of tragic, because I know a lot of people have said their phrase to me, like, I don't get art, or like, I don't know how anything about art. And it's like, I'm normal, you know, I'm making art for you. If you have eyes, like that is the extension of the like prerequisites, you know. It's like we all have a visual language. Like if you like movies, then like you're gonna get something, you know. It's like if you can feel anything sort of from it. And anything that I have, all of my like underlying concepts in the work, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to take away from it. Like I've definitely painted things, and then the person that has bought the painting has been like, nope, none of that is true for me. So I'm going to take it for this totally separate reason. And it's like a whole
other dialogue about what they see in it. That's
exactly. And it just means that it's relating to them on some other way. And that's amazing. You know, that's incredible to me. And coolest things is like that connection that you make with that person. And so that is actually the reason that I started painting, was that when I actually started painting shoes when I was in college, like canvas shoes, like to help me pay for my dorm. And so I would just like take custom designs from that, and then I would just like edit them a little bit, you know, and spruce them up a little with acrylic. And it was just like when you present the shoe to that person, like you've just pushed their idea just slightly, and then they're like, what, you know. And so that was the first time I ever felt a connection through artwork with someone. And it was like, oh, you know, and then addicted from that one. And now we're 8 years later or something. And it's like, okay.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's kind of we're just doing it on a larger scale now, really. Yeah.
I dig it. For sure.
Yeah.
He's looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those are great. The print quality is really good. And it's cool that they come framed. That's something I always, you know, I buy like some of the smaller prints because like you're saying, you know, as a regular person, it's kind of all I can afford sometimes. And then I have to go and think about that too. And whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know, that's nice.
Totally.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things is that we actually do payment plans for most of our paintings as well. Cool. Is that it's like for our originals in particular, it's that like these are thousands of dollars. Like I do not, you know, have that sitting around in my particular bank account to drop on art at any moment. So it's like we have a payment plan that we have like a contract, and it's 3 years, and you just have to pay it off within 3 years. But like no other real specifications. So it's kind of like trying to be as flexible as possible with the person, because again, I don't want to create any barriers. Can't have something that they've really connected to, right? Because the connection is kind of the point.
Definitely.
Yeah, my ultimate goal is that I have a Patreon page, and it's $3 a month to subscribe to that. And then, oh yeah, cool, absolutely. So it's like that, and then I give away something every single month. And my goal is that like one day that would become enough that I would be able to just give all my paintings away to the patrons, because it's like I'm not super here to like have paintings that no one can afford, you know. I really would like to have the connection, and then it's just like, oh, but the living expenses, you know, like those pesky things. If we could cover those, you know. But then with the crowdsourcing, it really makes it affordable, that it's like I've given away a couple of oil paintings on there that were hundreds of dollars, and then the person that won had to pay $3, you know, or like even over the course of a year, they're paying what, like, please don't make me do 52 times 3. I can't do that. It's 150 something ish, right? Yeah, in that neighborhood. but even so, right? And so that's kind of the goal, if I could dare to dream so boldly.
Definitely. No, I agree.
So, can I borrow your mic for just 1 second? So Tabasco wants to buy a bunch of your stuff.
Okay.
I'm getting little messages about we should buy this thing. But we also want to give a shout out to you, Tiffany Dae. Tiffany did the blue bordering around all the screens you've been seeing tonight. And it was a huge help.
Well,
and so we want to just give a big shout out to you. Thank you for putting your talents to the Equinox Studios greater cause, because it makes a big difference. It looks really beautiful. So we just wanted to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's happy to help. You guys are sort of astonishing to me, all the amount of time, like you're going to do this 5 nights in a row. So I'm just like very grateful to you as well. Yeah, thank you.
We're glad to be here.
You could buy a little help from our friends.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the most beautiful things about being here. I've been here nearly 5 years now at Equinox, and it's like I never meet anybody that is like not willing to just totally put down their whole load and help you. It's like really, really incredible.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
huzzah.
It's a special place. I think if I didn't come to Equinox when I moved to Seattle, shortly after I moved to Seattle, I probably wouldn't be living in Seattle now.
Right, me too. Actually, I came from Florida, and so my family lives there, and I moved with Jesus, and it was like, okay, I came to study at the Georgetown Atelier, and my plan was to move back when I was done, and then there's an Equinox studio open, and it was like, or I could teach and stay here and then buy a house for my way and then never go back to Florida. And that is what's happening now.
There you go.
Yeah, and now we're expanding. There are more of us now. This is Louis.
I'm excited.
This is Louis' office.
Oh,
puppy.
Such cute. Amazing.
Sorry if you get all tied up. Yeah.
It's always great to be here. I love your stuff. I probably.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're for, right?
Puppy, yeah.
I might even look into it and kind of thing. I really like the payment plan idea for art. It makes so much sense. It's amazing that you have the idea and the capacity to work on that.
Absolutely. So. It's trickier when you're showing with galleries because a lot of times they won't offer that, but it's like,
sure.
Yeah, if I ever have the opportunity to do that, because that's the only way that I've ever been able to buy a painting, and it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, all of these hang in my living room and my dining room. Like, that's how I decorate my house. Sure. That's like, they're here, but it's like, that's really, I want art to be for everybody. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes people, I think the world at large doesn't often think it is. They expect to go to Target and buy like a Live Left, like we talked about, the dreaded Live Left. It's like, really, when people want to decorate, they like go to a mega store and like find something there, like IKEA and everything, Marshall, right? How many times do you see all those? And it's like, but there are real people that are making things that connect with you, and you could see something that could make you feel good about yourself every day when you wake up in the morning, right? And it's like, you can't do that with me. Absolutely. Let's figure it out.
It's powerful, and it feels better, and it will be in your home for years. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's so good to talk to you. Do you have any closing words? We're gonna do a commercial from another Equinox artist, but we've got your information. We've got your makeup bags. We've got your prints. We've got your originals. It's all really great.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I just have to say thank you. Yeah, just a lot of gratitude. This year has been so hard for everybody, but the support that I've been shown is really incredible. And so I'm just happy. So thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Happy to have you here.
Cool.
And, we can just keep looking at all the stuff forever.
No.
To the commercials, Tabasco, whenever you are ready.
and Tabasco for doing all the back end work. And that's all I got to say. Thanks to all our artists. Thanks to all the people who make this happen. What you got, Work?
I just want to say thanks as well, and we'll be here tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you all tomorrow night then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.